I'm going to be reading a lot and referring to my notes because I actually made notes for this video. Okay, so I know many of us carry the divine spark and have been confused as to what the point of being here is and just want to get out. We all just want to get out, don't we? We have no answers and don't even know where to find the answers. Even though we read the text, it's not always clear as to how to get the answers that we are looking for. So, aside from reaching gnosis, you will want to remember who you are and where you came from. So, I have been working on memory recall for over the last 6 months. It has been really slow for me because it has been a very heavy experience remembering. I have been seeing and experiencing memories as 4K images in my mind. These memories can include various senses, including sight, sound, smell. It can also be somatic, but it can include, like I said, all the senses or some senses, just depending on the memories that you get and how you experience them at that point in time. It can also appear as just an image or a video clip. You may just hear words. It can look different for everyone. Once you start getting memories, it will continue to come in. I have been gaining my memories from mostly meditation and by practicing remote viewing. Meditation is the simplest way to access these memories. I found that when I coupled this with remote viewing, my recall capacity increased due to the precognitive abilities used. More frequently expands the greater access into the consciousness field. Once you start getting more memories, you'll get an understanding of who you are and be able to piece the details together. Taking this to the next level is remote viewing your previous or continuous life, because that's generally what's happening here, is that you've been taken out of your current life and placed into this intermediary sort of limbo that it appears to be. But it could be different for you depending on why you came in here and how you came in here. But definitely remote viewing will take it one step further when you practice remote viewing in tandem with the meditation. So, like I said, I believe you are having a continuous life from your previous life. And I believe, just from anecdotal observation, that our consciousness was placed into this human body and will return to that body once you have completed your time here. So, remote viewing isn't hard and anyone can do it. Everyone has access to the consciousness stream. So I suggest finding a remote viewing video that teaches you how to do it and follow it. I'll link the one that I used in the description. It's really simple to follow and you'll be able to grasp it straight away. But there's a lot of different videos there available on the internet that are shorter. But I think you'll find it's really simple to follow along. It's something that anyone can do. But I will leave a link in the description to the one I used. She's a really good remote viewer too. Her name's Birdie Jaworski. Subsequent to learning that, it's a very basic skill that once you practice, it gets easier and easier to go into and access that consciousness field. In order to find out about your memories and the details of that, you'll need to be able to remote view that. To effectively remote view and find those answers to who you are and who you were in the previous life that affects this life, because you are living a continuous life. You're pretty much on a mission here for some reason or some purpose. But because of this amnesia from the matrix, the mind wipe frequency, and the constant programming that stops you from accessing your precognitive abilities, your psychic abilities, you don't know what that is. So to effectively access that, you want to do it a blind method. So a blind method of remote viewing, this means that you assign a number to your target task question randomly. So create a table, like a really simple table in Word, and you've got like one column for your target number and the next column for your task question. And depending on how much you want to geek out over it, you can, I guess, make it a bit more detailed if there's extra data that you want to collect or take note of. Yeah, I suppose that's up to you to tailor. But at its most simplest, just write a whole list of questions, keep it all separate, and assign a 8-digit number sequentially or randomly, depending on how detailed you want to get. You may have a question like, where did I come from in the past life? And you'll assign that a number. And then once you've created that list, I then write all the numbers down on like a piece of paper, and I fold them all up and I put them in this container and I shake it up, and they look like this. I just fold them up into these little notes and I draw them out. See how it's got a number on it? That's what the number looks like. See, just like that. I have like, I don't know, maybe like 10 in there, but it's good to have like a lot in there, so you know you're not going to go, yeah, I know what this is, or so that you can collect data and it's far more verifiable. I find all the numbers that I have in here, I do eventually try to work through them. And that's sort of my goal. And every time like I get something and it requires a bit more detail that I just can't pick up on through meditation, I will like do it through remote viewing, and a lot more data will flow through me. So how you receive data will be really interesting. So the data comes in both conceptually and visually. You may tend to favor one or the other or have a mixture of both, but it just depends on what kind of abilities you're more naturally disposed to possessing. Also, once you get into remote viewing, you can then further ask questions to expand on the data that you receive. Just write it down, because that's how you do your remote viewing. Is you get a piece of paper, and then once you start seeing the common themes in the data that you get, you can like ask a question within the actual tasking, and both words and images will flow through in terms of the data that you get. So that's something else that you can use as part of your skill set in attaining more data about your memories. To aid my remote viewing as well, I use theta waves, binaural beats, which helps me in accessing the consciousness stream. It's not necessary, but I'll link that also down below, because it might be something someone else finds useful. But also for some other people, you may not even need to use remote viewing for your previous or current life, because I've noticed that meditation is enough for some people. They're able to just constantly go back in. For some people, meditation is enough and they won't need to remote view, but remote viewing certainly helps in getting far more detailed information. So for meditation, memory recall, you just need to sit or lie somewhere quiet and just breathe. Breathe deeply and slowly. Just focus on your breath. Clear your mind and focus within. Give yourself an instruction that you want to remember who you are and access your past life memories. Just stay calm and relaxed. It may take about 10 minutes and something will come through. It's really that simple. You don't need spirit guides. You don't need to do some Kundalini transcendental meditation. It's really simple. There's really nothing to it. Everything else is just a big psyop to confuse you. But all you need to do is just sit, breathe, and clear your mind and just give yourself that instruction. From my experience with the meditation method, I cannot do it 2 days in a row for memory recall. Sometimes it may take a week for me before I can go back in because I need to process and integrate the memory. So you may have to do that as well. Your consciousness won't let you take on more than you can handle. This is because the memories at times can be really intense emotionally and somatically. So be gentle with yourself. This isn't love and light like crap, you know. Oh, just like meditate, love and light, blah, blah, blah. No, this is the reality of it. These are actually your memories that have been wiped and taken away from you because of like the frequencies and the conditioning over time that have dulled your ability to take on the memories and to access the memories. It is also important to note that once you're in meditation, your consciousness will only give you so much. So you might really be pushing to make breakthroughs and push past like an hour or what have you and really want more, more, more. But you'll only go so far and then your consciousness will cut you off and you won't get any more in that session. So that's when you have to go out of the meditation and just spend some time reflecting on what you received and processing that into your life, into your body, into your psychology, psyche, what have you, depending on what it is that you recalled. So, yeah, your consciousness certainly only gives you so much and it won't bombard you with too much memory recall. So spend an hour is a really good amount of time. Anything less than that, you're probably wasting your time. So yeah, around the 1 hour mark, the most your consciousness will let you have anyway. So another thing that happens once you commence memory recall this way is that you might just be chilling out or doing whatever and a memory will just slip through. Sometimes a memory will drop in first thing in the morning on awakening and it can be a roller coaster. Remembering and getting memories is really intense. It's not oh, I was Marie Antoinette in the past life or I was like Cleopatra kind of shit. No. Mm-mm. This is real memory recollection. This isn't like fantasy of placed memories, which I think that they are. This is authentic memory recollection. It has really deep psychological impact when you receive it. I haven't remembered everything yet, but it is something I am working on. I've been doing this over the last, say, 6 months when it started happening for me. So I really want to say this isn't for the faint-hearted because it is really traumatic. It really is. It's serious. I know a lot of you have struggled with the trauma of just being here, and it does get harder to cope with being here once you start to remember. I also began tracking my memories once they kept coming in. So I took notes and journaled as much as I could. So like date the entries and just wrote down like the experience. So how did it make you feel? And like by feel, I mean, did you feel something in your body? Because you can. Sometimes you'll get like a rapid heartbeat because there's some panic there and you'll get chills because it was something happening to you that was of intense trauma. Like, you know, you might have been confronted at the time by something in that experience and it seriously frightened you. And there might be a smell of like laundry powder because that was what your clothes smelled like or whoever you were interacting with smelled like. Do keep notes because it can feel like none of this is real. And that's a lot of what I deal with is that it's hard to reconcile and go, oh my gosh, this isn't real. But it really is real. And it's really hard to get that verification because you've got nobody else to talk to. It's just usually something that just happens inside of yourself and just to you, and it's not happening to anyone else because you're surrounded by NPCs. So once the memories come in, depending on how intense they are, you can reflect on them. Just like every other like human memory you have, you can zoom in, you can zoom out. These memories are really crisp and very visual, and you will see them in your mind because you have the ability to see like images in your head. So you can reflect on them like all your other memories, and you can slip back into it like and enter that memory bank like you do with your human memories. It just kind of like sits in there, it fits in there like streamlined like any other memory that you have. I just want you to remember that all the answers are always within. We all come into this hellhole with amnesia and the mind wipe, but it can be unlocked. Your memories want to come out. It is all stored in your consciousness. You don't need to defer to spirit guides or angels. You're literally holding everything within your consciousness. Everything is stored in your consciousness, and you just need to instruct it that you want to get your memories back. Anyway, that's it.